Hey everyone, I'm Mia with KSPB, and today we're going to be doing our second interview at school with the Transducers. So will you two give us a short intro?
Hi,
Hi,
this is Sam, and I'm Taylor.
that's Taylor. Yeah.
And we're just two members of the Transducers band.
Just to give a little context, if you're wondering, our other member, Jesse DiCarlo, he teaches the rock band here at Stevenson, and I was a teacher here at Stevenson for many years. So.
Yeah. And what instruments do you all play, or like what role do you have in the band?
I'm the bass player, also one of the singers as well. So that's my main role.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jesse plays guitar, and then I play keys and vocals as well. Actually, we all do some vocals.
She's the main lead singer, though.
And Sam and I did all of the composing on this album. So it's a 10-song album. We haven't quite gotten to that yet, but I'm excited. It's a 10-song album, so Sam and I co-wrote all the songs on them, or we wrote some of them.
So I think the big news is that this weekend there's going to be an album release show. So will you two tell us more about that?
Yeah, well, we're going to be releasing our album at Wave Street Studios in Monterey. It's near the aquarium. I think the show starts at 8 o'clock, and we're really excited. It's a beautiful venue. They have a cafe there, and it's lovely, very intimate setting.
Yeah.
So we're excited.
We'll play the whole album as well as some of our songs from our EP and a couple fun covers as well. And then we have Adria Castellano opening for us. So she'll start off at 8 o'clock and she'll play a short set. She's awesome. She splits her time from here and she also lives in Nashville part-time. So you hear that in her sound as well. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm. So about your album Emerald, so what inspired you to create this album?
I think there came a point in our time together where we were encouraged to write original music and decided to venture onto that path. You know, we had started out as mostly a cover band, and then somewhere along the line, you know, there were a lot of people telling us, "Hey, why don't you guys write some original stuff, because you have some really cool stuff that we've already heard," and so that kind of led us to that, and that's how we embarked on doing it.
It's been a very long journey though. Like, I think overall we've spent almost 4 years like actually recording, not all the time, not every weekend or anything like that, but like it's been a span of essentially 4 years, one to make our EP and then 3 to make Emerald album. And so to get that question, it's a great question, but I'm kind of like, well, I don't know, that was so long ago, and it just kind of, as you know, it just kind of, as life goes, it just morphs and slowly, and then we make all these small decisions that lead to other small decisions and then when Jesse joined the band a couple years ago, he just joined as a guitarist, the amazing guitarist that he is, but then we learned that he's also an incredible producer and sound engineer, and so it was like, okay, he had been in the band for like, I don't know, maybe 9 months to a year before we were like, okay, maybe we should like keep recording, and then it was just, well, let's just record one and let's just see how this goes. Okay, well, let's see how the next one, and then it's like, now we're here and we have 10 songs. We're like, well, maybe we should put them all on an album. You know, it's like, I know that sounds meandering. It's not like it just kind of happened upon us, but it's like there's so many little decisions and so many, you know, and like, you know, I had a kid in that time. Like, there's so many things that had happened in our lives, and like we thought maybe we weren't ever gonna put this album out because we had some seat changes in the band. And so it's been a long journey, I guess. All that to say is it's not something that just kind of we were like, boom, we're gonna make an album, let's do it, here it is. It's just kind of like, and then finally we've arrived here, and should we put this out? Yeah, I think so. Here it is. You know?
we have a good laugh when we hear of these other bands who are like, yeah, we took 6 months of our lives to make this album. And we're like, that's not very long. But they were like, it was so hard, and we're like, try 4 years, you know.
Yeah. But it's good. Like I feel like we're complaining. Like it was a beautiful, beautiful process. But yeah, it wasn't a straight line, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. So about About Emerald and about like some of the songs in Emerald, what would you say is your favorite song, or like would you share some of your favorite lyrics?
Oh gosh.
I would say two of my favorite songs. One is Temporary Fix, which there's so much energy in that song that I just am overjoyed when I play it. Taylor wrote it, and but it's so much fun to play, and it's so like it's just it's the kind of the music that I grew up listening to. So I'm like, oh, I love this, and then Emerald is really precious and important to me because that was the song where I felt that we had arrived as a band because we had gone through this long recording process. But I felt when we got to that one, it became elevated. It wasn't just, it was something bigger and brighter than we'd ever done before. So
I think that's where we really like found our sound, as bands say, our sound. But no, really, I think we did. I think, as you said, we kind of arrived, and it was like we could really stretch together as a band that trusts each other and is okay. I think starting out, it's like we want to be the most original and we want to do the weirdest stuff because nobody else does it that way. And it was like Emerald, I think really we just got to like just breathe and just trust that we were there and all on the same page together. So that really felt right. And for me, I think one of my favorite songs, because it like happened in such an organic way where we developed it together, is the song Secrets on this album Emerald. Sam came to us. This was kind of late in the recording process. You came to us with like a groove idea. You had all your lyrics, and then you had like a groove idea, and you had some chord changes. And I remember sitting down at Jesse's dining room table, and you were like, "I have this song," and we just kind of like jammed through it. And both Jesse and I were like, "Well, how about this? And how about this?" And we just like sat down, and like by the end of that session, we had like a fully fledged, beautifully like arranged song. And so I feel like that's the first song where we really had a little bit of
all hands on deck
co-writing, almost, or like there was an extra like teamwork element in that sense, because I mean you wrote the song, but it was like we got to kind of stretch it together and work through it together.
I think it might be the first song that we really worked as the newer team, because this is kind of a newer configuration. So I think that was the one that we had done that previously with our other iterations of our band, and I think this was the one that it was it was all hands on deck, as I said.
And this is a good opportunity to mention Skylar Campbell, who is an incredible drummer. He lives next to Jesse, and he just one day we hired him to come in as a session player. He's not in our band, but I mean he is just an incredible player. And he came in and he knocked it out four songs
in one day,
in one session. Like, and it was like 3 hours, like less than 3 hours, and he just like killed these songs like in the best way possible. Like he just nailed it. And Secrets is one of the songs he plays on. And I remember we had a spot where we were like, "Oh, why don't you do 2 bars of fill right here?" And he's like, "Well, I'm not really a soloist. Let me try something." And of course he just like and we were just like, "Oh, okay." That was just like perfection. So you'll hear that on this album, just his extremely amazing craft that he's honed. It's just gorgeous work. I'm not biased at all.
Very, very unusual for someone to just be able to come in and lay everything down in one day or one session. So we were just shaking our heads going, "My God, this guy's a beast." He's amazing.
Yeah, so I think that's one of my favorites, just because he's showcased so beautifully on that song.
He is, yeah.
And I know about your band, and you all talked about like so much about how it was like really a group effort to get to here. So will you tell us more about the Transducers? Like, how did y'all like become a band? And I know like what you just talked about, like being the Transducers means like transducifying and making everything. I feel like just like giving everything a hint, like the color of your band.
Mm-hmm.
So how did that come to be?
It's an interesting story. We Taylor and I met actually in the fall of 2016 because we were doing a show at Paper Wing, and then later we did the Rocky Horror Show, and in that musical, and it's a very famous movie, by the way. It's a very famous movie from the 70s.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, yeah. Susan Sarandon.
Susan Sarandon, yeah.
Yeah. But in that show, the main character, Dr. Frankenfurter, has a machine called the sonic transducer, and in that show, he uses it to have control over people. But the actual term transducer is about changing one form of energy to another. So after the show, we got this wild idea. Well, why don't we just be a band? Why don't we go out and do it? And that's how it started. It took a while because we were still doing a lot of theater shows and stuff. But and that was back in 2017, and so we've been at it ever since. So it's been a long process. So
yeah, and that term. Transducer, or that word transducer, we love it because it also lends itself to so many different like iterations. Like you can say transducify, or you can say transduciphoria, or transducification, or just like these are not real words, people, but like we have a lot of fun with it. So it's just a word that we love because of the sound of it and the way that we can kind of change it around, but also like Sam said, it's a device that converts one form of energy to another. And so I think we really try to use that as a thread through what we do as kind of a belief that we have, as it were, that like we can take anything that already exists and make it our own and make it better in some way, or make it relatable to us in some way, and then put it back into the world from our own lens. So that, and then also then creating our own music from that as well, and transducifying in a way of writing our own music and radiating that out into the world.
If the words get into the dictionary, we know we will arrive as a band. The Oxford English Dictionary would be
one day.
One day.
Yeah. My next question is, can you tell me what is, say, your biggest musical goal right now, or what is your mission right now, either like as an individual or as a team?
Well, I mean, I think that's always an open-ended question because the goals are usually shifting.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, we had no idea that we were going to be here with an EP and an album, and those goals changed. So I think the immediate, I would say, I'm not trying to speak for everyone, but I guess an immediate goal would just be to promote our album and to celebrate that and get better at honing those songs as we play them live. And then I know at some point the urge will hit us again to get back into the studio and start recording again. So I think that's probably down the road, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. As Sam said, very open-ended, but like I do feel like as our season goes along, the goals change from, okay, we're gonna just gig for these next few months, and let's not even worry about recording anything. We're just gonna gig, and we're just gonna focus on that, and nothing outside of that goal. And I think we kind of sometimes get tunnel vision. Like right now, all I can think about is just I'm so elated that we finally are releasing this. So maybe we'll come back in a couple weeks and you can ask that question again, because I'm just like, I don't know, all I care about is on Saturday we get to finally play our album. So I'm so short-sighted right now in that. But yeah, I think my goal is just to keep just playing this gorgeous. If we never wrote another song again, I would be happy. I would just be happy hanging out with these awesome people and just playing this music, playing whatever covers that we love, because we love to play covers too, as we said. Like, we I think sometimes musicians, original bands are trying to reinvent the wheel, you know, and it's like we really want to be conscious of all the artists and the music that has come before us, and honor that and learn from that, and to carry some of those traditions on to the next generation. And I know that sounds like I'm God over here trying to do, no, but like I think
She is.
yeah. But I think I'm always, you know, going. I love the music from the '70s. Carole King is my all-time hero, and so I'm just still. I think there's just still so much I need to learn about the music that has come before me, still. And so that really is, you know, we have to do that work. We have to be conscious of all the people that have come before us and all the amazing music that's already been made in the world, before we can do anything else, before we can go forward in any way or change anything, you know. So that's always in the back of my mind. But I mean, and that being said, I love writing music, and I think co-writing, that if I had to like do like one goal, like other than what I just said, co-writing, like starting to actually co-write with Jesse and Sam would be like my like short-term goal. Yeah, because we did a little bit as we said with Secrets, but really the most of the songs that are on this album and that came before us on our EP, or came before this album on our EP, are all just songs that we brought in separately, and they were mostly finished. And we had, here's me, Taylor, coming in with this song to teach to these, you know, to the rest of these members of this band. But I would love to get to the point where we just all, I have this little idea, or I have this, you know, four chord progression I'm working on, and let's, you know, work on it together. That's where I would love to get.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the show is this Saturday.
At the
2 days from now.
Yeah, Wave Street Studios in Monterey, 8 o'clock. It's by the aquarium.
On Wave Street.
On Wave Street.
Off of the rec trail.
There's a beautiful studio there. It's also a cafe.
Yeah.
Very intimate setting. Adria Castellano, who is very well known in the area as a musician and a sort of a national. She goes back and forth, East Coast, West Coast. She'll be opening for us, and so we're just like over the moon to be there, and you know it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous space there. The venue itself is just absolutely stunning. Rhett has done a great job just getting a lot of awesome artists in there recently. We're just happy to be one of them, and they also will do live capture of the event. I think I heard it might be available to stream, so we'll put that info on our social media and on our website for those that might sound interesting too. And then I think eventually also we'll have some footage that has been edited together, some other footage as well to share.
Yeah. So please drop by this Saturday to the album release show for the Transducers.
Yes.
And do you guys have anything else you want to share, or?
I would just say follow our social media and our and look on our website as well. So our social media is at the Transducers Band, and then our website is thetransducersband.com. So that all this information about how you can get your tickets, what we're doing, how you can stream our music, all that is on our social media and our website.
Yeah, and I just want to again reiterate the fact that both Jesse and I are I'm retired now as a teacher, but I taught here in Rosen for many years, and so I just love this place, and I'm so grateful that you guys had us, and go Pirates, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, hi, Mom.